to other stories now. A new investigation reveals that British men are taking payments of thousands of pounds to pose as fathers for migrant women's babies. They are being offered up to £10,000 to add their names to birth certificates, enabling a child to get UK citizenship and giving mothers a residency route. Scammers are using Facebook to tout for business and claim to have helped thousands of women in this way. However, Facebook says such content is banned by its rules. The investigation found that the fraud is happening in different communities around the UK. It uncovered agents operating across the UK who find British men to be fake fathers. Let's now talk to immigration lawyer Dayo Fadina, who joins me from Kent on the latest. Mr. Dayo, thank you for joining us on the programme. What do you make of this whole revelation?
Good evening, Melissa, and good evening to your viewers. Anyway, rightly so, this sordid, disreputable criminal cover of illegal activities has been now blowing up it's now blown up. It's in the open right now. These illegal activities of fake birth certificates, fake British fathers, buying, mothers buying documents, for their children to actually be given the British citizenship. This is a situation that's very, very shocking, really, and it's been going on for quite a while. And what I could now see happening is that the British government, particularly the Immigration Office, would start investigating so many of these applications that have been made over the years, and probably even prosecute people who they actually find out to be engaging in this illegal activities. Another thing I think could also be happening, or that the Immigration Office would want to do, is to start calling for DNA testing of children, fathers, of anybody who actually wants to make an application for leave to remain based on being a parent of a British child. Unfortunately, these things are happening right now, and I feel that the Immigration Office would take the right steps to be able to curb these illegal activities. It's not right at all.
Britain is already dealing with a migration crisis. Do you see this affecting or worsening, that particular issue?
Well, alas, it's just unfortunate that because this is happening right now, I foresee, my strong hunch is that the Sunak Tory government, which is the right-wing government, has been very, very tough and heavy on immigrants and people who want to remain in this country. It will give the Sunak's government the ammunition needed right now, and they go ahead to be more strict on immigrants, people who want to actually come into the UK, and people who want to apply for leave to remain in the UK. It's going to it will make things more difficult for immigrants, I'm afraid. And it's sad that this is happening at this point in time where there are so many people who are still stranded as immigrants in this country. We also have the situation of the problem we have with immigrants to do with the asylum seekers. So it's going to be making things more a tougher situation for immigrants, who would want to settle in the UK. It's sad, but unfortunately, that's going to be the situation at this point in time.
I don't know, you've been an immigration lawyer for many years, and, there are some who are caught in this migration issue due to the conflict in their country, due to several circumstances. So, what are the hopes, for one who's going through a crisis such as this, if we have all of this other difficulties or illegality springing up? How do we protect the genuine migrants who really need help?
The genuine immigrants can be protected in so many ways. Take, for instance, this particular scandal that is now in the open at this point. There is a very particular rule which allows a parent of a child, to apply for leave to remain with that child in the UK if that child is a British citizen. The rules are there. But what I feel the Home Office should be doing at this point is to ensure that anybody who wants to make this type of application, that person is scrutinized, thoroughly. The father's paternity should be, checked upon, especially if there's any doubt as to whether the father is a father of that child. There should be a situation where, the moment anybody there should be a firm policy. And it beggars believe that the Home Office has not actually put in place a firm policy to be able to check on paternity of children, to be able to check on the paternity, whether the father is truly and really the father of the child. It beggars believe that we don't have that kind of policy firmly rooted in rules and law. That would at least protect that kind of child and the parent actually applying for leave to remain. And there are so many other routes people could also apply for to be able to remain in the UK. The rules are there, but unfortunately, what's going to happen now is that the government I could see the government, the Sunak's government, using this very particular scam as a very good reason why they now need to tighten immigration rules, come up with stricter rules that will prevent people to be able to remain in the UK and prevent people to be able to come into the UK. Alas, it's unfortunate, but this is what's happening at this point in time.
We'll continue to monitor that situation and the developments. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Mr. Dayo Fadana, immigration lawyer, joining us from Kent. Thanks for joining us on the programme.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Still to come, more than 1,200 items that once belonged to great music stars to be up for sale at the annual Music Icons auction this week. We have details shortly. Police in southern Italy says they have seized 2,700 kilograms of highly pure cocaine hidden in 2 refrigerated containers containing bananas that had been shipped from Ecuador. According to a statement, the haul found in the Calabrian port of Gioia Tauro would have been worth more than 800 million euros. The shipment had come from Ecuador and its final destination was Armenia via the Black Sea port of Batumi in Georgia. The drugs were discovered in a 12-meter container by a sniffer dog. Police said they had found a further 600 kilograms of cocaine in the last few days in fruit containers from Ecuador being shipped through Gioia Tauro. Calabria is home to the Drangheta, which has supplanted Sicily's Cosa Nostra as Italy's most powerful mafia organization and plays a central role in the drugs trade. A German court has sentenced 5 men to several years behind bars for their involvement in a jewel heist in 2019 at a museum in Dresden, which houses one of Europe's greatest art collections. The pieces stolen from the break-in at the Green Vault Museum contain more than 4,300 diamonds with an estimated value of more than 113 million euros. 6 German men, all in their 20s, have been charged with aggravated gang theft and serious arson. However, police have said most of the stolen jewels have been recovered. An 18-year-old gunman has shot 3 people to death and wounded several others, including 2 police officers, in a northwest New Mexico town before police shot him dead outside a church. The late-morning shooting unfolded in a residential area of Farmington, New Mexico, about 180 miles northwest of Albuquerque. According to police, the gunman was believed to have acted alone and no motive was readily apparent.
At approximately 10:57 this morning, we received multiple calls into our dispatch center that there were shots being fired in the area of Dustin and Ute. Officers responded to the area to find a chaotic scene where a male subject was actively firing upon individuals in that neighborhood. We have 4 officers from the Farmington Police Department that confronted the subject. They were able to stop his actions at that time. The suspect is deceased. We know that 3 civilians were killed by this person's actions. We also know that several other parties were injured due to the gunfire. What we do also know is that 2 officers were also injured, one from our agency and one from state police. They are both receiving medical care at San Juan Regional Medical Center, and they are in stable condition. We do know the age of the suspected shooter. He is 18 years of age. We know that in this incident, besides the suspect himself, who is deceased, there were 9 other people injured.
And a fire at a multi-storey hostel in Wellington, New Zealand, has left at least 10 people dead, and officials warn the number could rise. New Zealand Prime Minister Chris Hipkins visited the scene of the hostel fire in the capital. The fire broke out on the top floor of the Loafer Lodge in the Wellington neighbourhood of Newtown just after midnight today, and police said the cause of the fire is not known. However, rescue operations are continuing and investigations into what caused the fire underway. Yes, the latest on Sudan today. Fierce clashes have continued between the Sudanese army and the rival rapid support forces in the capital, Khartoum, as well as the neighbouring cities of Omdurman and Bahri across the River Nile. The military has continued to carry out airstrikes, and residents sheltering in their homes are hearing loud explosions. Rights groups in Darfur say fighting around the city of Eganina over the last few days have left more than 350 people dead. There have been widespread reports of Arab militias loyal to the RSF attacking, looting and burning homes. Drone video obtained showed a fire raging in the Sudanese city of Omdurman, where intense battles are being fought despite Saudi and US brokered talks between the army and the RSF. Talks in Jeddah aimed at securing humanitarian access and a ceasefire are yet to yield positive results. The Sudanese army has carried out airstrikes in the north of the capital, attacking its paramilitary rivals around a hospital that witnesses say was damaged in the bombardment. Fighting has spread to the western region of Darfur, but has been concentrated in the capital, where RSF fighters have taken up positions across neighbourhoods, and the army has used airstrikes and heavy artillery fire to target them. Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and Hemti held the top positions in Sudan's ruling council following the 2019 overthrow of former leader Omar al-Bashir during a popular uprising, and stage a coup 2 years later as a deadline to hand power to civilians approached. It's been a month since Sudan's sudden eruption into violence. Hundreds of thousands have been displaced by bombings, gunfire, mainly from the capital, Khartoum. But for many still stranded in the coastal city, Port Sudan, they're now facing extreme heat and a lack of water and shelter. Stranded families have been sleeping inside tents they've built from blankets or huddling in shaded areas as they try to escape the intense sunlight.
And the problem we are getting here is a very big problem. That now we are being, the people, they don't like us to be here. And now the way we are here with the children and the mothers, some of them they are sick, and some of them, there's no food, people they can eat. So we are suffering. We came under the United Nations, but they cannot do anything to us. We came to the government of Sudan, who are leading this town over here. They cannot help us anymore. We are listening that they are taking some other people from outside. We are listening that if you are not like that, they are going to take you to the war zone. What are we going to do in the war zone and we run from the war?
And finally on the programme, more than 1,200 items that once belonged to Kurt Cobain, Eddie Van Halen, Dolly Parton and numerous other music greats will be up for sale when Julien's Auctions holds its annual Music Icons auction this week. Also on the auction block include outfits, musical instruments such as guitars used by Michael Jackson, David Bowie, Beyonce, Freddie Mercury and many more music stars. The Music Icons auction will take place at the Hard Rock Cafe in Manhattan. However, bidders can also participate live online.
So this is our annual Music Icons auction taking place here at the Hard Rock Cafe Friday and Saturday, May 19 and 20th. Over 1,000 items going on the auction block, one of the biggest auctions we've actually done, even though we're here every year. So incredible items. All of the greats are represented in this auction. Michael Jackson, David Bowie, Elvis Presley, Bette Midler, Beyonce, Freddie Mercury, on, and then look at the guitars. We have Nirvana, U2, Eddie Van Halen, Lenny Kravitz. We have an incredible guitar from the early 1960s, signed by the Rolling Stones and the Beatles when they were at Top of the Pops, a show that was aired in the UK back in the 1960s. We're not selling anything that people need. We're selling items that people want. They want to covet and own these iconic pieces that represent a memory or a time in their lives. So on the sell side, we need people to come to us to sell their items. And we've noticed in the last year or so that people are inclined to need to raise some financing, some capital. And of course, they're letting go of their toys that they've had over the years, maybe not because they want to, but because they need to. And so that makes my job easier. And that's why we have over 1,000 items, in fact, over 1,200 items this weekend, which is a lot more than usual.
The greats. Now, I wonder if it's too late to go into a musical career. Well, that's our show this evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Millicent Walker. Bye for now.